It's about 4:07 p.m. here on the East Coast, so we have 53 minutes until Forex markets open. In those 53 minutes, I will go over anything that you guys want me to take a look at, and I have several things that I plan on looking at to begin with. My name is Liam McMahon. For those of you who do not know me, I am a currency strategist here at GlobalFxClub.com. I tend to focus on moving averages and simple price action. I will occasionally dip into some more complicated stuff than that, but for the most part, that's what I do. This is our weekend webinar. We run it every week. This week, I opened it up to the public. We run 4 webinars a week for our members. I'm going to start opening up a few more of mine to the general public and letting you guys kind of come hang out with us. But this is what we do. So please take a moment, if you would be so kind, as to read the risk disclaimer, which should now be on your screen. And then we'll jump to the charts. Lots to look at for this week. Should be a very interesting trading week. So let's get started. All right. So in terms of data, we have a very light week for significant data. We have Canadian GDP on Friday. We have German business climate on Monday. We have British inflation hearings, and then current account. That's like a Wednesday and Thursday, I think. U.S., we have new home sales. We have Chicago PMI and the weekly unemployment claims. That's about it. None of those are likely to be particularly earth-shattering, which I think is probably going to be for the best, considering the violent moves that we saw at the end of last week following the Fed's rate decision and Bernanke's press conference. So this light week may actually be good for the markets, give them some time to process and adjust to whatever it is that moved them so violently last week. All right, so this is E-mini futures. So the S&P futures here. This is actually, the S&P is in an interesting position. Obviously, these last 2 days, we've sold off very steeply, really breaking below 1,600, closing below 1,600, and closing below this rising trend line back from February. So that's certainly concerning to bulls. On the other hand, the fact that we held and dojied at this 100-day EMA in green, somewhat concerning, I would think, to bears. The beginning of the week, very, very crucial, I think, for S&P futures. I think if bulls can force price back above this trend line, we could start to see a fairly significant squeeze higher. On the other hand, if bears manage to roll the market over here, next major support really could be first 1530 and then 1520. All right, so we have a ways to go lower if we do manage to break and close below this 100-day EMA. So you definitely want to keep an eye on the stock markets this week, as they will certainly be playing a key role for Forex trading as well. But keep your eye on those 2 setups for E-mini futures and see exactly where we start the week and markets react to the start of a new week after the sell-off at the end of last week. Keeping with futures, let's take a look at gold futures. All right, so gold tanked. These are all daily charts for right now, by the way. Gold tanked on Friday. I had posted this basic chart in the chat rooms, I think on Thursday or Wednesday, pointing out, saying, like, look, if we break this trend line, we're heading lower. I did not anticipate the fact that we would be able to move that far that fast, from really 1350 down to 1268. $100 move in a day is just an insane sell-off. We've seen a couple of those lately. I remember back in April, we saw these 2 massive sell-offs. Then we saw some consolidation and breakdown lower. Gold still looks poised to head lower to me. Correction back up towards 1350, certainly a possibility. Maybe we retest the bottom triangle before lower. But gold still right now, from a technical perspective, looks to be in trouble. Really, the only time I'll not consider being bullish gold until we break 1380. Get above 1380 and we'll talk as to whether or not I'd be interested in buying gold. But for right now, it does look fairly ugly. Silver also looks ugly. Daily chart silver. One of these rare descending wedges that kind of breaks to the downside. Again, very violent drop on Friday. On Thursday, sorry. Recovered a little bit on Friday. Same with gold. The drop was on Thursday. The recovery was on Friday. Again, silver, look for moves back up towards 21 for a possibility to short. If you trade silver, and if you do, you're braver than I am. It's not my favorite pair, or my favorite commodity or anything to trade. Again, on silver above 22, then you might get me interested in longs, but until that point, not interested in trying to buy silver. Copper. All right, another steep sell-off, sort of finding support here around $3. We touched a low of 302, basically, rallied from there on Friday. Let's keep your eye on this area here, basically this 305 area up until this 325 area. That should all be resistance. Only above 340 really makes copper start to look at a little bit more palatable. Next up, we're gonna move to the forex pairs. Let's start with euro dollar. So this is the daily setup I'm looking at on euro dollar for possible longs here to start the week. We're testing this major 50% fib off the rally from 128 up to 134. We also have this nice moving average cluster here between the 50 and the 618. The 50, 100, and 200 are all grouped in between the 50% fib and the 618% fib, providing a lot of support between basically 131 and 130. So that's 100 pip range, very good deal of support down here. And it wouldn't surprise me to see the market respect that at the beginning of the week and maybe rally a little bit. The weekly chart was the short that I was asked about. I suspect what they're looking at. First, we have a bearish engulfing candle here on the weekly chart. Last week, obviously, very ugly for euro. Secondly, we held the 6.8% fib on the weekly chart. All right. Twice we wicked above it, couldn't hold, and pulled back from there. That's certainly bearish as well. And finally, okay, we held that bearish descending trend line very well as well. So 134 was the magic level. Managed to short off there. Congratulations. That was a brilliant trade. If not, I would be cautious about chasing here. But I would not be opposed to shorting on a little bit of a pullback. Maybe around Wednesday, if we see Monday and Tuesday the euro trade a little bit higher, possibly get a short setup on Wednesday for a move down towards 120 if you think that's where the dollar's going to go. Speaking of the dollar, let's take a quick look at the dollar index. Again, the dollar index is honestly not my favorite. It's very heavily euro-centric. To the extent that you can see, the dollar is testing key 50% resistance as the euro dollar tests key 50% support. So the two charts kind of align. They tend to trade kind of in inverse of each other. I'd be cautious about being aggressively long the dollar to start this week, as we are trading at resistance, and we did have a great run, 3-day run higher. A small pullback or consolidation would not be out of the ordinary. Aussie dollar. I have no idea. I don't really have any interest in trading Aussie dollar here. I have to be honest. It is just destroyed lately, and every time we see a rally, we get another sell-off. It would be the very definition of bottom picking to try to find Aussie longs right now. I don't have any interest in shorting Aussie though, not after this kind of decline. So for me, the Australian dollar definitely on the back burner, at least against the dollar. I do kind of like the potential that Euro Aussie is offering here. All right, we have a fairly solid bearish candle on Friday. Could present some sort of opportunity for a correction somewhat lower before higher again. We'll see thing right now, but I am watching Euro Aussie. I'll keep an eye on the shorter term charts to see if I get any sort of more solid sell signal. But certainly after this run that we've had from 123, you pretty much straight up, you would think that a correction would not be out of the ordinary. Kiwi dollar is very similar to Aussie dollar. Right, it's beaten up. I don't really have any interest in buying or selling it here, but definitely going to keep an eye on it and see if there are some shorter term bottoming patterns that I can find. But for right now, it's definitely staying on the back burner. Dollar CAD, another commodity currency, has also been beat up lately. Mostly really Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it rocketed higher from a low on Wednesday of 101.74, finished Friday at 104.50. So a very solid move higher. Made a new high. This is a 618% fib that it held for the record, suggesting that we were going to get a new high. We got that new high, so now I'm kind of going to see. I think we may see, again, a small pullback here on Aussie or dollar CAD. I don't think we'll make it all the way back down to this trend line, but keep an eye on that level as well. For possibilities, again, I mean, I'm betting 105 on dollar CAD. I expected us to get to 105 back in April, though, so I was a few months early. We came to 104.87. That's close enough for me to call it 105. Now we're kind of going to have to wait and see what dollar CAD's looking to do. Certainly, if we manage to pull back to this trend line, probably around 103, 102.60, I would be a very big fan of getting long dollar CAD. Anything right now to encourage me to get short. Had we managed to finish the week below this top line of this consolidation / rising wedge, I would have been a big fan of trying to get short. I don't like weeks above it. I have to see how the week starts, but not a huge fan of shorting dollar CAD right now without more information. Again, Canada has their GDP release on Friday, so they have one of the few important releases. Of course, it comes at the end of the week. All right, so this is Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD is similar to Kiwi dollar in that it's been very beaten up lately. Not a lot of great trading opportunities for it right now, but I need to keep my eye on this steep descending trend line here for a possible breakout higher. Might give that a shot. But not, again, not my favorite pair right now. A little too choppy down here and a little too beaten up for me to really try to take a long right now. Pound dollar, also very similar to euro dollar, testing a major 50 fib. Doesn't have as much moving average support. Kind of sitting right on top of this 50-day. We do have a descending trend line retest that would come in right at the 618% fib. That's at 153. So if we manage to drop another 100 points to start the week on pound dollar, I would actually be very tempted to try along off 153, looking for 155 with like a 152.50 stop. But again, we'll have to see how the market trades here early this week. Dollar yen. Okay, so dollar yen is actually an interesting position. For those of you that are GlobalFxClub members, the weekend moving average video, I just posted it maybe an hour ago. It's all about yen pairs, including dollar yen. So if you watch it, you'll see a little bit. I'm going to repeat a little bit of what I said here. This 50-day EMA is very important. It was very important back here in November. It was important again here in April. It was important in earlier this month, June 10th. And now it's getting an opportunity to be important again here to start the week. All right, we already tested on Thursday, couldn't close above it, and Friday we finished below it as well. The markets are going to roll over, continue to roll over here on the yen pairs. That moving average is going to be likely to hold, but we do have to keep in mind exactly where we are from a Fibonacci perspective as well. All right, that 50% fib. 50% fib comes in at 98.73, so about 80 pips higher than, right around 80 pips higher Yeah, 60, 70 pips higher than this 50-day EMA. So we could see a false break above that EMA to test the 50% fib before a sell-off. If we do see dollar yen on the daily chart move above this 50-day, touch this 50%, and then close below the 50-day, to me that would be a brilliant setup for a short on dollar yen, targeting 90. With first major support at 91.83, so I'd probably be taking profits there. But really looking for new lows and a continuation lower. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Again, that would be a move above this 50-day EMA, but a failure to close and a touch of this 50% fib. That would be a very attractive opportunity, I think, to go short on dollar yen. Take a quick look at Euro CAD. Okay, so I'm watching this particular setup here on Euro CAD. This is a very attractive candle to me here on Friday's daily candle. Very nice potential reversal candle. You can see that reversal candles have worked out pretty well in the past for dollar CAD. We had one here for a quick sell-off. We had one here for a sell-off. We had one here for a sell-off. Had one here. Had one here for a sell-off. Had one here for a very nice sell-off. All right, now we have another one here. There are a bunch of examples I could point to where they didn't work, obviously, but it is something to keep in mind. We do have what looks to be some sort of an ascending wedge. We have a possible reversal candle. All right. Major support, pretty much 137. Then this trend line, then 135.40, and then the major support is 134. 134 would be a retest of this breakout. There's going to be significant moving average support there as well. I would probably look to get long at 134 if we do get that sort of sell-off. Certainly a possibility. One of my favorite pairs to watch this week is definitely going to be Euro CAD. If we do see the Euro weaken further off that weekly setup that we looked at, could very well drag Euro CAD lower with it and provide a very nice trade to the downside. So that's something to keep an eye on for this week. Euro pound. Again, if you have questions, please post them in the chat room. I'll be happy to look at anything that you guys want me to take a look at. If not, I'm going to keep just through all these pairs. We'll go from there. This is Euro pound. Euro pound is actually kind of cool right now. This is 86. You can see it's been just rock solid. Let's see, starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 tests on 3 separate bunches here at 86. It's held every time. This is the bottom end of that. Basically looking for a breakout. I still like Euro pound higher. All right, so that's my bias right now. Certainly the opportunity could come very early in the week to try buying it down here around 85, maybe even as low as 84.75, this 100-day EMA. If that fails, next support would be 84, this previous low here. All right, either way, we have a very nice range here on Euro pound that I'm watching very carefully. Break above 86. Opens up brand new highs above 88. That is certainly the clean setup that there is on Euro pound. So keep your eye on those consolidations. Euro yen. Okay, this is Euro yen. Top side break would be above 130. That would suggest new highs above 133.80. Downside break would be below 126. All right, and that would suggest to me a move down towards this 200-day EMA at 119. All right, so either way on Euro yen, watching this consolidation, not going to trade it until we get a breakout. Certainly we held this descending trend line very nicely on Friday and Thursday, actually. So move lower, very possible. But that 120 resistance should actually be fairly stiff. Then we'll have to see how the pair breaks out. Certainly, what the Nikkei does this week and what dollar yen does this week will have a lot to say about what euro yen does, as the yen pairs really trade as a yen pair lately, not really as their whatever the counterpart would be. Pound yen, while on the theme, very attractive, actually, short setup here on pound yen to start the week. All right, we finished the week pretty much at that 50-day EMA. We tested this sort of miniature neckline here and were rejected twice. Very possible that this could be the start of a move below these previous lows at 147.15 towards 142.64, again, that 200-day EMA. On the other hand, if we do manage to break these recent highs and continue higher, I do think that we could likely see a move up to new highs on pound yen. Again, it'll sort of depend on what dollar yen does, but very interesting setups to keep an eye on euro yen and pound yen for this week. I think the yen pairs could offer some very nice volatility this week. The rest of the markets, dollar pairs especially, may be kind of a little lethargic after the moves that we saw last week. So yen pairs maybe where it's at this week. Other questions? Is Aussie yen on the daily chart? Aussie yen is actually trading at a very, very important location right now. It's at a major 618% fib, really from the entire rally, starting back here in October of last year, all the way down at 79. All right, so this fib level is huge for Aussie yen, and we're starting to kind of maybe put in some sort of descending wedge. Click down to the 4-hour chart. All right, a breakout above this 50-period EMA here on the 4-hour chart, that's at 90.87. That could be a very attractive long setup. I think that this kind of Aussie decline that we've seen, if you want to try to fade the Aussie move lower, Aussie yen is 100% the pair you want to do that against. From a technical and fundamental perspective, I think the possibility of an Aussie yen rally this week is decent. I would like to see that 50-day or that 50-period EMA here on the 4-hour chart go, and this consolidation break out. But this major 618% fib provided support twice. We have a potential double bottom here. So this is kind of an interesting area for Aussie yen. It will definitely be on my radar here early in the week. On the other hand, a move below 89, and Aussie yen is probably going all the way down towards like 85. And I would suspect rather quickly and violently as well. So definitely keep your eye on Aussie yen this week. Other requests? Anything that you guys want me to take a look at? You love Pound Aussie. Yeah, I'll look at Pound Aussie in a second. I still hate that pair. Speaking of pairs that I hate, this is Dollar Swiss. Some of you, for some reason, really like this pair. I detest it. But so here we go. Dollar Swiss is at resistance here. Major daily moving average resistance, 200, 150, all clustered right around 94-ish, right around 94, yeah. Keep your eye on that. Again, I have no interest in being long the Swiss franc against anything. So the only time I like trading Swissy pairs is if I can sell the Swissy. So I don't want to short dollar Swiss, but it is at a nice resistance, which makes sense since euro dollar is at nice support, and the two have kind of mirrored each other since the institution of the floor. Pound Aussie is the request. This is Pound Aussie. It has gone straight up since 143.80. So that's what, 2,400 pips? Pretty much literally straight up. We've seen, all right, since Uh, since right here, since April 11th, we've had exactly one, two, three times that the pair has gone. The pair has posted two or more. It's just two red candles in a row. It's happened three times since April. As this has just been a runaway freight train higher. If if the Aussie's going to rebound, pound Aussie would be a good opportunity. Honestly, to me, Euro Aussie is a little bit more attractive. I think it's a little bit clearer. It's also a little bit less volatile, so I do like it a little bit better. There is major support here on pound Aussie, 166 even. If we do see a consolidation for this week above 166, I think the odds of another new high are pretty good, and you'd want to sort of keep your eye out for that. Again, weekly chart, major, huge weekly candles here on pound Aussie. This level, these levels down here. All right, that's a support level now on a weekly chart. That's 160. So could see a 700 pip move lower before higher. We did manage to finish this week above the 200-week EMA. Failed to do it last week. Handled it without too much of a problem this week. So that's another concern if you're trying to short pound Aussie on a longer-term time frame. Certainly, the only trade that I will be in love with from pound Aussie would be buying that 700 pip dip. I would love to do that. I don't know if that's going to be the opportunity, but that would be something I'd like to do. In between there, it's a little scary to me, and I don't have a great interest in trading it. Euro Aussie weekly, kind of a similar deal. The only trade I'm going to be in love with is going to be buying a move down to 133, maybe even 134, closer to 134 at this point before higher. Other than that, I'm going to kind of be real hesitant to touch Euro Aussie and pound Aussie as I usually am because they scare me. Other requests. This is the dollar Swedish krona. It's a little bit unclear here. Trading really technically the past few weeks. Lately, it's been a little bit more challenging to trade. Certainly, we have something like this going on. Very nice resistance level here, right around 6.7. We'll see if we actually do continue this trip down towards 6.4 and then lower. That's kind of what I'd be looking for on dollar Swedish krona. So you keep that in mind if that's a pair that you like to trade. I like to trade it. This dollar Norwegian krona, or I think they might have kroner, not just krone. I don't want to trade this one. I wish I had bought it down here for a very aggressive rally higher. But right now, maybe a move back down towards, hold on, let me fix these trend lines. It's really not even a trend line. Move back down towards 5.9 might be an opportunity to get long. But this pair is a little bit more chaotic. I have a great deal of interest in trading it. Aussie Swiss, like all other Aussie pairs, somewhat of a recovery on Friday, but has been beaten to death lately. Actually, from a fundamental perspective, if you're looking for a pair to get long the Aussie, like I said, Aussie Yen is a good opportunity. Aussie Swiss is also a good opportunity. It has a very nice positive roll because of the Swiss negative deposit rates. And also, we know the Swiss don't like a strong currency, so opportunities to sell the Swiss franc should always be taken. But I need a more clear setup than what we have right now. But I will be watching Aussie Swiss for a possibility of a long, which would correspond to a Euro Aussie short, which is also something that I've been keeping an eye on, as we talked about earlier. Euro Swiss, why not? I guess right near this 200-day EMA here. That's at 122.36. So that's something to keep an eye on. Again, the only thing I want to do on Euro Swiss is buy it at like 120.50. Other than that, I'm just not interested. If the market decides to test the Swiss again by moving that by moving the pair lower and lower to that floor at 120, great, I'll buy it up. Until then, I'm just going to let whatever this nonsense is continue without me as a participant. Other requests for stocks, currency pairs, commodities. This is orange juice futures. I don't drink commodity futures, but any other requests? Anything you want to look at? This is me hogs for you commodity traders out there. Nice rally in thin pigs. All right, there are no more requests. I'm going to wrap it up. Maybe about 20 minutes until the U.S. Open. I will post this recording. I will post the YouTube link on Twitter since it was a public webinar. So if you're not a member, you'll still be able to watch the recording. I know I threw a lot of numbers and pairs at you, so take your time and watch the recording if that's what you're interested in. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, I appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you guys who are members in the chat room. And those of you who are not, please feel free to come by and take our free trial. Hope you guys are well. Enjoy your trading week. Good luck, and I'll talk to you soon.